This conference will
Okay.
now be recorded.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon. One person is awake. Good.
Noon, sir.
Good noon. Super, guys. Just I want to know whether you are awake or not. Good. Thank you. It's good noon. Good noon. Good noon. Okay, so how was the day? Is it good? Uh, okay. How was the day? Is it good or what? Is it bad?
Good, sir.
Good. I hope every class, every subject has started their classes. Yes. Yes, guys. So okay. So actually, sorry, but actually, I still now didn't assign you to that course because some other work is going on. So today we are going to start with the second unit, basics of Java programming. I'm not going to start with first unit. So after completing the second unit, I'm going to start with this first unit. Yes. Is it okay for you? Because if we are without knowing this basics of Java, we cannot implement this object-oriented mechanisms. So if I want to implement this inheritance or polymorphism or some other thing, I want to know what is this and how it to work. So for that, this Java and what is the basics of Java and how it works. So for that, I'm Java. So can come it's going to be second first. This as the first. So this. So please consider this unit. Today I'm going to start with, okay, sir. So with the question, right? Question. For that question, do you all remember that question? Why Java is still used? Day by day, a new programming language is evolving. So as we discussed yesterday, so day by day, a new programming language is getting evolved. But till now, we are using this basic C or Java. I asked you why they are using this. Has anyone know why it is? Did anyone find out the solution for it? It is independent. Okay, good. Yes, Java is independent, which is nothing but it is open source. It is an open source and which we can be used to implement all the object-oriented programming concepts. Yes, it has many libraries, but when compared to C, it is getting added to more. But in the initial stage, C has more library files. Yes, the answer is it has many library files. Good, good. So Srinidhi and Shakti Kiran. Good. Any other options? Any other answers? Python good object-oriented programming language, and Java is not a pure object-oriented programming language. It is not a pure object-oriented programming language. I will explain you why it is not called as a pure object-oriented programming language, because Python is completely pure object-oriented programming language, but whereas Java is not a complete pure object-oriented programming language. I will explain you when we are going to see this data types. So what are the data types and what are the operators we have? While that time I'll be explaining you what is that, how it is going, why it is not called as a pure object-oriented programming language. Good, but Sneha, it's good. Come up with an answer. Yes. Any more solutions? Any more solutions for this? Sir, actually, initially they started to use only C and C++. So because C and C++ are the two languages first launched.
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
Okay. Hello. Guys, is it still breaking? Hello. Okay. Okay, I don't know why, but there is some network fluctuations. I don't know. Maybe due to some network connectivity. Okay, fine. So let's start with this. So as I told you, so this is the topic that I'm going to start with this. So introduction to Java and JVM, JDK and Java features. So up to this, I'll be trying to cover this today. So by tomorrow, we'll be starting with this data type, operators and expressions and Java naming conventions and command line arguments. So this is very pretty much easy. So we'll be solving all this by tomorrow. So today we are going to start with basics of Java. Okay, so as we are going to Java, so before Java, the most popular, so before Java, there are many languages. As I told you yesterday, there were many languages that are before Java and C. Before Java, we have C, C++, D, sorry, B and D and assembly level codes. Assembly level codes, and then after that I have procedural language. Procedural language in the sense I'll be having COBOL, Fortran. So like that I have many languages. I have many languages. Among these languages, mostly they'll be started to use this C which is easy to implement all the functions, and it has a proper syntax and a defined data types and defined keywords, which helps the developers to create their own language or to create their own process easily. So that is the reason why they started to use C. And apart from C, so C is just a prototype. C is just a prototype. Just a prototype of C++. And C++ is the actual language. The actual language is the actual complete package. It's a complete language which supports all the features. I hope you already know about this. Yes, C is just a prototype. C is not complete language. C is just a prototype of C++. So before completing C++, so there was a need for C language. So actually, during the time of Second World War, I think so. During the time of Second World War, they started to use the C to transmit a message from one person to another person using my system, using a LAN connection. So I want to transfer a message from one system to another system. So for that they use this. So like cryptography, they use this program C language to convert my message into some types of codes and to decrypt it. So encryption and decryption. For this purpose, they started to use the C. So before completion of the entire language C++, actually they started to develop C and C++ to develop Unix software. Do you know about Unix? Unix operating system. Do you know this Unix operating system? To develop this Unix operating system, for Unix operating system, to develop this Unix operating system, they need some translator to convert user understandable code to machine understandable code. That translator is this C++. So this Unix was right now used in iOS, all iOS systems. iOS, you know this iOS systems? iOS. So where this iOS is used? Where this iOS is used? iOS. I hope you all heard about this iOS. Apple, good. Apple software. Apple's OS, correct? Apple's OS in both the laptop, tablet, and mobile, anything uses iOS. So this is the reason why Apple systems are fast. Apple systems are fast because it uses, still now it is uses C and C++ to develop their own applications. Yes. So now they have migrated to, actually after this, after C++, they have this Objective C. They had this language called Objective C, which helped them to create their own application. So right now they migrated from Objective C to, so right now what software they're using, what language they're using to develop their applications. Anyone who knows this? Anyone know this? Right now, what software this Apple organization is using to develop their own applications? Initially, they started with Objective C. Objective C. Right now, they migrated to Swift. Swift is the programming language that is used by Apple to develop applications for both iOS devices, for mobile or tablet or my system. So right now they're using the Swift to create their own applications. And why? So this is the reason why Apple devices are pretty much faster when compared to other devices. Yes, when compared to other devices, this is easy. This is very fast. So as you know this, so C is nearly fast to assembly language. Assembly language are the fastest language, which are my actual machine codes or the partial machine codes. Assembly codes. See, are nearly fast to my assembly codes. So assembly codes are nothing but partial machine codes. Partial machine codes. Yes. Okay, sir. So that is the reason. So the Unix operating system. So that is the where the C got popular, and all the systems have started to use this Unix operating system, and they started to use the C. Initially, Unix was free open source, but later they converted into a paid version. When they are starting to develop, they given this Unix operating system as a free openware. Open software, but later what happens, they converted into a organization, and when they are converting into an organization, they converted this into a paid product. So many persons or many developers cannot use this Unix operating system. So what they did is they created a copy of it. When they were when there was a free version, no, they took that free version and they created their own open source version, and that open source version is called as Linux. Right now what we are using, so Linux based systems. Right now we're using no Linux based systems. So this Linux based systems is a open source. So which is nothing but it's a open source, which is nothing but it can be used by anyone. It can be used by anyone, and anyone can anyone can take the source code and they can modify it and they can use it. So that is the meaning for this open source. Correct? I hope you all know about this. Yes. Yes, suppose. Good. So to create this operating system, what they did is they have a table of content. So actually C and C++ to create this operating system, what they used is they used a table which is used to convert my user code to machine code. So they have created this table which will accept all the user level codes and it will convert into my machine code, which will have a tabulation like this. So in that table that will have a, so like index number. In this index you'll be having two things. One is user code in the sense the systems language or system code that has been given, and the equivalent machine code for it. So this was the table that they used to convert a user level code to a machine code. Yes. So this was initially developed in C and C++. Yes. So that is the reason why many have started to use this C language. The same table. So this table is also available for Java. So this Java developers has created this table, which makes this Java is pretty much easy for all the developers to use it. So that is the reason why after C and C++, we have so many languages. After C and C++, we have many languages. Actually, B, C, D, E, F, G. So like that, we have many languages, many programming languages. So these languages has not become popular because all these languages uses the same C formula, same C structure, same C Unix table. So this Java, they have developed their own Unix. They have developed their own table, which is very similar to my C, and which makes its own property, which makes its Java's own property, and that is called as GNU. So general GNU. I don't know. I forgot that expansion for it. You can check about this GNU. Yes. So which makes this Java equivalently competitor for the C. So this is the reason, and this Java is also open source. This Java is also a open source. Initially, it was started by Sun Microsystem. Sun Microsystem, and the developer is called James Gosling. James Gosling. I hope you know this. So initially, this Java was developed by Sun Microsystem, and C was developed by Bell Laboratory, and C was developed by Dennis C. Ritchie and Ken Thompson. So C was developed by Dennis C. Ritchie and Ken Thompson. Ken Thompson. So these are the both persons developed this OS operating system, Unix OS. Unix OS. So they were both persons. So Dennis C. Ritchie works on this, works on the C plus C. So mostly they works on the C and C++. There is one more person. I forgot that one more person, and Ken Thompson. So there are three persons. There is one more person. I forgot his name. So these three persons are the major. They are the persons who developed this C, C++, and Unix operating system. They are the they works in this Bell Laboratory. So there is a history of this C language. Similarly, this Java was developed in Sun Microsystem, and it was developed by James Gosling. James Gosling person. Initially, Java project. So they have created as a project, and this initially they have not kept this name as Java. They have kept this as a oak, which is derived from this oak tree. I hope you know about this oak tree. This name was derived from this oak tree. Do you guys know about this oak tree? So oak tree is called a purest form of tree, or a pure tree, or it is going to be a what it is called as a holy tree. Like that they'll be telling this holy tree or a pure tree or something like that. They'll be telling this. It will be in a white color. It will be in a white. The wood will be in a white color. So that is a tree that they use, and they have kept that name as a project for this programming language. They kept oak, or they call this oak tree as the origin of all the trees. They call this as the origin of all the other trees, origin for all other trees. So they wanted to create something new that is not going to be a part of C. They want to create their own formula for it. So that is the reason why they have kept this oak as a project. And later what they did is, so Java is the name of a coffee bean. Is the name of a coffee bean. So which was popular at that time, and which was popular in that area. So later when they are migrating over to they are giving updations for this. They converted this name oak from Java, which is derived from this name coffee bean. So that is the reason why Java has a logo of coffee cup. That is the reason why Java has a logo as coffee cup. You may have seen it. Yes. So they have taken the name from coffee bean. Is it clear, guys? So this is the complete history of Java. This is a complete history of Java, and this was developed in Sun Microsystem, and the developer who leaded this project, he is not the only person. The head of this project is James Gosling. He is not the only person that has created this. He is a project lead, and the project name was Oak. They started as a name as Oak, and later they have kept it as a Java. So this is the complete history of Java. Do you guys understand this? Is there anyone having any doubts in it? Is that clear, guys? Can you all able to follow me? Yes, good. Yes, thank you. Thank you. So this is the complete history of Java. So they find out some drawbacks in C and C++, and they want to rectify it. So they identified some drawbacks in C. So what is a drawback? in C. So let's see what is the drawback that they identified in C. So consider I'm going to create a C file. So first, what I'll be doing is I'll be writing my entire code in the C file. So main.c. Yes. So after writing my code, what I'll be doing? After writing this, what I'll be doing it? Normally, if we write any program, after writing a program, the first step, what we'll be doing is, what we'll be doing? See, this is a user understandable code, which a user can understand, correct? So now, see, okay, let's make an example here. So let's consider that. Sir, I know only Hindi, sir. I want to teach you some concept. I want to, so I'm having a content, correct? So I'm just going to speak to you. So I'm just going to speak to you, but you know only English. Do you understand this? Do you understand if I speak something in Hindi? Can you able to understand it? And you don't know about Hindi. You don't know Hindi. No, I cannot directly, you cannot understand what I'm telling. Correct. Okay, sir. Then how can I make you to understand? How can I make you to understand? Translate. Good. So I need some person who's going to translate. So translate. Correct. So I need some person to translate from Hindi to English. Correct. Similarly, take my system. So this is my user defined code and my system can understand only machine code. Machine code. So how can I convert my user defined code to my machine code? Very good. Very good. So Vanita has given an answer. Vanita has given an answer. Good. So first I have to compile this. Compile this. So compile. See, okay. Compile this code. So which is acting as a translator. Translator. Which will convert my actual user understandable code to a machine code. To a machine code. Yes. So this is the task of my compiler. This is the task of my compiler. I hope you all understand this. You all remember this because you already know what is this. You all has studied C in first semester, I think so. First semester you have seen this, how the C works. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes or no? Come on, guys. I need an answer. Yes or no? Do you all know this or not? Just a minute. Yes. Okay. Okay, sir. So this is what we are going to do. So first, I'm taking this main.c, and I'm going to compile it. So this compilation is what it's going to do is, so compilation. Hello. Sorry guys. So sorry, I got a call. Sorry. Okay. So first compilation, COM. So this compilation, what it will do is, it will first it will check for errors. First it will, so while compilation, it will check for errors. Check for syntax errors, correct? So we'll be checking no. So whether all the lines are completed, like semicolon, or whether we have used correct proper keywords. So whether you have closed the brackets correctly or not. First, it will check for errors. After that, after checking errors, it will convert my code into a partial machine code. Partial machine code. Partial machine code. Partial machine code, in the sense, it is a type of assembly code. Assembly code. Partial machine code. And this partial machine code is going to convert into a machine code. Is going to be converted to machine code. So this is a complete process that will be taken care by compilation in C. Is first it will check for errors, then it will be converted into a partial. If there is no errors, then it will be converted into a partial machine code, and this partial machine code is a type of assembly code which will be actually the assembly codes, assembly level codes, and this assembly level codes is going to be converted into a machine code, and this machine code is only understandable by machines. Yes, so which is nothing but it can be of 0 or 1, 0 or 1. This will be of 0 or 1. Yes. Okay, sir. So in general, what happens is, so main.c will be converted into, so main.out or main.exe. Yes. So this machine code, so this is the machine code. So the my machine, whenever I compile this main.c, it will be converted into a executable file, .exe or .executable file. In Linux based systems, it will be called as .out file. In Linux based systems, it is called as .out file. In Windows based system, it is called as .exe. .exe is nothing but an executable file. Executable file. Yes. So, okay, sir. So right now I have written a code in one system. I have written my code like main.c in one system, and I have compiled it, and I have created this executable file. Okay, sir. Now, can I share this executable file to my friend, and can he able to execute this file? No, actually there is a problem. So system one, so consider my system is a 64-bit system, and I have some memory. Okay, so okay, I'm just considering it is a 64-bit system, and in this system I'm just going to create my executable file, create my exe file, and in system 2, this is going to be my system 2, and he is going to have 32-bit system, 32-bit system. And if I'm sharing my exe file, will it work properly? Will it work fine? Sharing my file, will it work fine? Will it work fine? No. What is the reason? Because it is of different type. So system 2 has a 32-bit system, and we can also consider the OS. We can also consider OS. We can tell it as, sir, my system is going to be working on Windows, and my friend system is going to be working on Linux. On Linux, will that work? Will Linux system supports my exe file? No, it will not support my exe file. It will support only .out files. So this is the drawback that Java system identified. Java developers has identified. So if I want to execute the same file, if I want to execute the same file in system 2, then I have to transfer my entire code. Then I have to transfer my entire source code to that system. And again, in that system, I have to compile it. And then I have to create my exe file or my executable file. And after that, I have to run it. Correct? So if I want to run this main.c in my system 2, then I have to copy this main.c to my system 2. And in here, in this system, I have to do compilation. After compiling, I'll be creating this executable file that is going to be main.out, since it is going to be a Linux based system. So this is going to be executable file, and this, after converting into an executable file, then I'll be running this. So this is the first drawback they identified, because whenever a source code is transferred to my other system, which makes me vulnerable, correct? Which makes me vulnerable. My actual original source code is when transferred to some other system. So if a source code is transferred to somebody, see, this is my developer system and this is my client system. Consider this is my developer system. So developer is going to create this file and client is going to use that file. If I'm transferring the original source file to my client side, and a client has a full access to change the code, correct? Yes or no? The person who's getting the source code can able to change the file, can able to modify the file, or he can able to add a new line, or he can remove a new line, or he can do anything. So if there is any error occurs, then this application will not work fine. Correctly? Correct or not? Correct or not? Do you all understand this drawback that is in C? This is the first drawback I'm telling. So there are many drawbacks that we can list, but this is the first drawback. I'm just telling this. This is the first drawback that they identify. Yes, guys. So can you able to understand this? Yes. So what Java developers considered is, I don't want to share my source code to my client system. So what I can do. So that is a problem statement that they had. That is a problem that they had. So to solve this problem, what they did is they created a virtual machine. This is a system. This is an actual physical system, correct? This is a physical system which is going to understand or which is going to execute my system. So why do I want to directly send my source code to that system? Why do I want to solve? Why do I want to give that to a system? So what they did is they created a virtual machine. Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine. Virtual machine in the sense it is going to be it is not going to be a physical machine. It is going to be a virtual machine. Consider it is going to be an imaginary part. Yes, they developed this Java virtual machine, which will take this Java virtual machine will take this Java bytecode and convert this bytecode into the machine code. So this is the process. So what they did is they are going to create a Java file. So I'm going to create a Java file and I'm going to compile this code, and I'm going to compile this code. I'm just going to compile this code, and this compilation will not convert into my actual machine code. This will create a Java bytecode. Yes, they will not actually converting into a machine code. They will be converting into a Java bytecode, and this Java bytecode can be accessed by any Java virtual machine. If my system has this Java virtual machine, we can easily understand this Java bytecode and it can convert into a machine code. Yes. So what happens is, if I want to execute this file, in system 1 or system 2, so consider I have system 1 and system 2. So in system 1, I'm going to develop my Java program. So in system 1, I'm going to create my Java program and I'm going to compile that file. So compilation. So while compilation, while creating, I should have a Java development kit. So actually we can tell it as a Java virtual machine. So actually it should, for creating or for developing an application, for developing or creating a new Java file, my system should have Java development kit. Java development kit, which is in short, it will be called as JDK. In short, it is called as JDK, which will help me to create this Java file. So in C, we will be normally using this. In C, to develop C, we will be normally using this GCC compilers, GCC or TCC, that is Turbo C compiler, General C compiler or Turbo C compilers, correct? To create and compile this file. So similarly, in Java, if I want to create a file, then I should have this JDK, and JDK has this JVM, and inside my JDK there will be a JVM, which will makes me to understand. So this system one should have this JVM, and this system 2 should also have this JVM. So this is a 64-bit system, or it can be of any OS. I'm just telling this 64-bit system with Windows OS. And this system 2 is going to be of 32-bit system, and this is of Unix OS or Linux OS. I'm telling it as a Linux OS. Yes. And these two systems should have this JVM. And as I said in the earlier note, so Java has created their own table, that table which is very familiar to C, and this table was used in this JVM. They are actually not using for this their own system. They have created a table for this Java virtual machine. Yes. So now what happens is, now when I compile, I'll be converting my .java file, my source code .java file, into a Java bytecode. Yes. If I want to transfer my file from system 1 to system 2, I don't want to share my original source code. I don't want to share my Java source code. I don't want to share this Java source code. Just I can share this Java bytecode. So this Java bytecode can be understood by this Java virtual machine. It can be of any type of system. It can be of Windows system, or it can be of Linux system, or it can be of Unix system. The only thing that system should have is it should have a Java virtual machine. It should already have this Java virtual machine. So that is the only thing that should have. Yes. Do you all understand this? Can you all able to understand up to this? Is anyone having any doubt up to this? Is anyone having any doubts? Guys, is there anyone having any doubts in it? They all able to understand this? Good. So then let's have a one recap or just a question session. Yes. Okay. So first question goes to roll number 120. Sasireka. So what is the initial name that was given to Java project? What is the project name that was given for this language? What was the initial project name that was given for Sasireka? Please unmute yourself. Sasireka, are you there? Roll number 120. Yes. What is the solution? What is the initial name that was given for this Java project? What was the initial name that was given for this Java project? Yes, make it fast now. Do you know it or not? Okay, anyone? Anyone? Oak. Good. Good. Super. Good. Okay. So who was the head of this Oak project? So this question, just a minute, just a minute, just a minute. So second question. So second question goes to roll number 156. 156. Vashnika. Roll number 156. Who was the head of this Oak project? Roll number 156. Yes. Yes, Vashnika. I was asking a question. Who was this head of this Oak project? Or who's the person who's developed this Java? Who developed this Java? James Gosling. Good. Correct. Super. So next question to Tamil Selvan. Sorry, not, yeah, Tamil Selvan, roll number 152. So which company has developed this Java? Which company has developed this Java project? Roll number 152. Tamil Selvan. Roll number 152. Are you there? Roll number 152. Tamil Selvan, are you there or not? So Tamil Selvan is absent for the class. Yes, he just logged in and went out. Okay, so roll number 161. Vidya Bharati.
Yes, sir.
161. Yes. Which company has developed this Java? Started this Java project?
The Sun Microsystem.
Good. Sun Microsystem. So now this Java was completely overtook by Oracle. So right now this Java is under the controls. Not only the Java, the Sun Microsystem. Complete Sun Microsystem was taken over by Oracle, and Oracle is a part of Google. I hope you know that. Yes, Sun Microsystem was completely acquired by Oracle, and Oracle is a part of Google. Okay. So next. So next question. So next question is for 163. Vigneshwar. Vigneshwaran. Vigneshwaran, are you there? Vigneshwaran. Yes, you can unmute and you can tell. Okay, so your question is, if I compile my C file, what is the file that I'll be generating? If I compile my C file, what is the file that will be generated after compiling a C file, .c file? After compilation, what file will be generated in C? C. If I compile a C file, what is the file that will be generated? I've also given you an example, a translation. So translator is nothing but a compilation or a compiler. So if I compile a C file, what will be generated? Yes, is there anyone help? Is there anyone is going to help Vignesh? Is there anyone ready to help Vignesh? Object file. Actually, that is not the correct answer. Actually, object file is not after compilation. I'm not asking the during the compilation, after compilation. Yes, guys, anyone? So if I compile a C file, what file will be generated after compilation? The compiler will convert my C file into a executable file. Executable file is nothing but a machine code. Yes, machine code. Yes, it's a machine code, machine language or machine code. We can tell it as anything. So it is generally called as an executable file. If it is an okay, so okay, maybe we can ask this question also. Okay, so who's ready for the next question? Is there any volunteers for the next question? Is there any volunteers for the next question? Sir, I'm ready to answer. Okay, the next question is for roll number 141. Roll number 141, Srinidhi. Srinidhi. Roll number 141. Srinidhi, are you there? Okay, the next question is very much easy. I hope so. Okay. Srinidhi, are you there or not? You're absent. Okay, I hope so. Srinidhi is also absent. Okay. So maybe we can give this opportunity. So okay, just I was going to ask a question. Okay, so question is, what is this executable file that is used in Windows system, and what is the executable file that is used in Linux system? The type of file, executable file that will be created in Windows system, and the executable file that will be created in Linux based systems. The type of file, I have mentioned the extension, correct? If it is going to be a C file, then that is going to be .c. So similarly, if I'm going to use an executable file for Windows, then what is the extension that it will be using? Extension for executable file in Windows system, and the extension for executable file in Linux based systems. Okay, you can unmute and you can tell the answer. No. Yes, guys, come on, help your friend. Help your friend. Anyone? The extension for Windows executable file and the extension for Linux based systems. The executable files extension. Extension in the sense, if it is going to be a C file, that is going to be a .c. If it is going to be a Java file, that is going to be a .java. Similarly, for executable file, what is the extension? I hope you can see the screen. The extension for Linux based systems and the extension for Windows based systems. Extension for Windows based systems and extension for Linux based systems. I have also given it. So in Windows based system, what is the extension it will be created? .exe, yes. Good. So it is learning. So in Windows based system, it is going to be a .exe file. In Linux based system, so Linux or Unix based system, it is going to be a .out file. .out file, yes. Keep that in mind, guys. It is very important. Yes, it is very much important. Understand it. Actually, exe for Windows and .out is for Linux or Unix based systems. Exe is for Windows. .exe. As you have installed many applications in your Windows OS. You have seen this .exe. That is my executable file. Similarly, all the executable files in Linux based systems are called as .out files. It is very much important. Okay. So next question. So next question is open to all. Anyone can answer. If I compile my .java file, what file will be generated? If I compile my .java file, what file will be generated? So Java file is converted into what? Java bytecode. Good. Good. Yes, good. Good. Super, guys. Excellent. Yes. Excellent. So with this, I'm stopping right here. Right now, I'm stopping here. So yesterday I shared you a link. I hope you all seen this. All have seen that link. So just open that. So if you are interested, you can get certification from that. So actually I shared you link in Swayam portal. Anyone has registered in it? Is anyone has registered in it? Yes. So if you have registered, then do one thing. Do one thing. So just go to your course. Go to your course, my course, and you'll be having a course like this. So where is that language? Okay, programming in Java. Yes, go to course. So in that, you'll be having this mentor. So if you're registered in that course, you'll be having this option called as mentor. In that, you'll be having my name. So here I'm having 3 names. So similarly, you'll be having my name there. Just select my name. Select my name as a mentor. So I'll be discussing you the solution. So maybe you have seen this. Actually, week 1 is already shared. We can discuss the solutions. We can discuss the solutions. It is completely what we are learning. It is completely what we are going to learn. So if you want, you can take this video lectures also, and I'll be sharing you this. Actually, I will not be sharing the solution. I'll be discussing you the solutions. Will that be good? Yes. I'll be discussing the solutions with you so that we can learn more. I too, these questions are new to me also. I will also learn and you will also learn from it. Is that good for you? Will that be good? Yes. So do this. Just register for this course. I have shared you the link. If you're not yet registered, register for this course. And if you're already registered, go to this mentor, and in this mentor, select me as mentor. In this, you'll be having a drop down. In that, you'll be having my name. So select me as a mentor. Yes, please. Yes. So thank you all. Thank you for joining the session. If you have any feedbacks you want to share, you can share it to me through WhatsApp. I hope you all know my WhatsApp number. It's in the group. You can share it to me. If you have any doubts, you can share it to the WhatsApp. Yes? Yes. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Thank you.